Good morning, Lions fans. It is Smokin Jeremy B. I am live this morning, coming at you in 1080p. How's everybody doing? It's been an amazing weekend. We got Henry Gray in the chat saying, "Good morning, Lions family." I'm quite sure there'll be more watching soon. Some big announcements coming out today, and don't forget to tune in tonight. Will Vogel chumps in. Good morning. Congratulations on 400 plus. Here's to many more. That's the goal. We want to grow. Uh, Football Talk 365 is sitting at 642 subs. We are at 404 and getting bigger every day. We have a rule change to talk about. We already talked about the kickoff changes and how it's either going to start with either they get the ball at the 40, they get the ball at the 35, or they get the ball at 25. It depends on where the kickoffs land. It's confusing, but yet it's supposed to bring back the kick return, which I kind of like that because it's been a missing part ever since they changed the rules, especially with hitting. And the hip trap is officially been changed. It's illegal now. It's a 15-yard penalty. We got Ricky Sakat coming in saying, "Good morning, JV." The giveaway will be tonight at 9 p.m. I'm still populating the list with all of our fans, and you guys have been great. There's people who have been with me from the beginning, and they don't chat very much, but they email me after the show to tell me their thoughts and their concerns. And I love it. I love interacting with the fans live. I love interacting with the fans after. It's a good thing to be able to have so much interaction with the fans. But at that point, it is time to start the show. So let's get this intro rolling.
Show up here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Meat Fat Bodies by Jeremy Jones.
That's it. Yes, I am live. I am taking this overlay off the screen. I forgot to do that during the intro. How's everybody doing today? How was your weekend, man? It was a fantastic weekend for me. I got a little bit of stuff done, got lots of rest. No new real news came out other than the fact that the kickoff change is official. Basically, at the kickoff, neither team can move till a receiver catches the ball. Um, they will be lined up 10 yards apart at the kickoff. If it lands before the 25 in the landing zone, which is right from the 20 to the goal line, teams will automatically get it at the 35-yard line. If it lands in the landing zone, you have two receivers back there and 9 guys blocking 11 other guys. If they start to receive it, it's wherever they get stopped. If it goes into the end zone, it is automatically coming out to the 25. If it goes out of bounds before the goal line, it is coming out to the 40 as usual. And XFL kicks off this weekend. Michigan Panthers are a part of it. So those tickets are on sale now. Go check them out. Talk about cheap football action. Smoking Dad in the building. XFL kickoffs. Smoking Dad saying, "Hey, kiddo, it's another great day." 404 subs. So tonight we're doing the giveaway. You get your choice between a Lions tumbler or a Lions mini helmet. And when Pretty Fred Peterson will get in here, he'll tell you the custom mini helmets Leonard does are pretty awesome. That means you'll be able to take them to any signing you go to, get them signed, and increase their value. The custom mini helmets go anywhere from 70 to $105 in value. The tumblers are custom. The price is cheap, but you can't put a price on custom stuff you can't buy in stores. The hip drop rule is going to also stop. Uh, it's going to hurt defensive linemen and how they take down quarterbacks because if they're calling it a hip drop, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Look at some of those sacks that Hutchinson had. The hip drop because he's grabbing him by the waist and throw him down or hitting him in the thigh. I don't think they're taking away the wrap up tackle. I think what they're taking is when you throw them to the ground by their hips, a hip drop is what it actually is. So if it's a wrap up tackle and they get down, so be it. But if they're thrown down, it's going to be a penalty and it's going to be an issue because the players got to adjust, the refs got to adjust how they call it. And I don't like the rule change myself. Mike Tomlin and none of your business. Because and in all actuality, unless he's served papers to say something in court, it is none of the media's business. Absolutely. And Joseph Austin, you're absolutely right. Hate the hip drop rule. It's going to be like the horse collar, inconsistent. It's going to suck. We're coming at you live at 1080p, live into Facebook on my page, the Kneecap Biters. It really, Andrew Constantine. I've been trying to figure out what they're calling it, what they're calling a hip drop. I haven't seen it directed more, and odds are he's alive at least. No, it isn't. He didn't say he talked to him. He's not telling him anything, nor should he. Unless he's subpoenaed to court, he doesn't have to say a word. Paul Jones, people wanted Snead or Gilmore, whoever they see on ESPN, but we're good with who we have. We're just adding a mid guy next month. Who knows who we take in the draft? Chemistry over hype. I've been saying that all year, all off season. No, sir, it's not, and it probably won't be done until closer to draft time because this is, as of Wednesday, this is the official third week of free agency. Well, a podcast is a broadcast, is it not? I am a journalist. I write for the Motor City Tribune, um, which is owned by the South Florida Tribune, and I'm my paper that I write for, or online publication, is actually applying for press credentials so I can be at the draft. I'm already on the short list of people in the press that get to go to Ford Field. I'm just waiting for one of the old guards to be gone so I can get in. So I am a journalist. Hip drop is when the defender drags the player down while sliding on his hip with his weight. So yes, it's going to it's a slippery slope there. Right. Very good. And Paul Jones says haters gonna hate JB. I got my prayers for that pass. Yes, because we will be going live every day from right there in Media Row. You might actually, I'm going to be taking a second camera with me so that I might be able to stream somebody at the same time that I'm talking to, logged in on another device. We are going to be there live. It's going to be the editor in chief of the South Florida Tribune, which is Candy Epling, Scott Morganroth's wife, and myself is what I was told. We will be live at the draft sideline with all the other reporters, NFL, ESPN, Sports Illustrated, and all of them if we get to go. We're just waiting for the official paper. Mike Tomlin was asked if he talked to Cam Sutton by a media reporter. He goes, "It's none of your business." So he didn't say he did, and he didn't say he didn't. He would have been better off just saying no comment. Communication non grata. But think back to prior to free agency when everybody was asking for all these big names. Who was the one podcaster out here who said that's probably not going to happen? Who's the only one who's been real with everything I said would happen around here? Good morning, Tina. Good to see you. I wonder when they're going to delete Sutton off of Madden. Kind of. Well, he played last year, so he's going to be on last year's Madden, but he will be off of our roster and in free agency next year. But if he gets arrested, he might be off the game completely. Yeah, we don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen until it happens. And as much as I hate to say it, I still feel like Orlando Escribano Jr. Jamo wasn't obvious, and Gibbs definitely not. I'm ready for that curveball this year. I'm wearing my pull-ups. Well, unfortunately, I was one of the few that said we probably would go running back. I just didn't expect it in the first round. This whole Sutton situation is uncharted territory for everyone involved. Unprecedented. Absolutely. Um, Thank you, Tina. Happy early Easter day. Yes. Yes, there is no news, so I'm not even going to bring that subject up anymore. He's still on the lam. And I still feel like, as a father of daughters, plural, if I was that father and I found out you tried to strangle my daughter and I lived in Florida, you're gator bait. 100%. I'm dragging you behind an airboat through the Everglades with a cut on you to attract them. And if it doesn't attract them, it'll attract a bull shark. Sorry, not sorry. All right. Top CBs falling in the 15 to 20 range. I feel like trading up to that range is reasonable. It really isn't with what you have to give up to go there. I don't know. I Detroit fan man, you can't tackle high, so you can tackle low. But now, while sliding on the hip is about to be a fine, smaller guys are probably thinking, but that just happens when we tackle. Ricky, either either that or feeding you to the pig farm somewhere. I agree 100%, JB. Her brothers probably chucked them off a swamp boat. And what if that curveball is Bo Nix? So be it. If it is, it is. I- I'm at the point where I trust what Brad Holmes does because it usually works out in the long run as far as the draft is concerned. The only draft pick that isn't on our roster right now, the only draft pick in the last 3 years not on our roster is Chase Lucas. I just want to say you get Bo and save football in some damn town. Leonard, you're crazy. I love you. Anyway, F's can something. He doesn't deserve any more of our time or breath. Yes, until the news comes in, he's incarcerated. It is what it is. Orlando says, full diaper if it's a QB. They'll change from sliding to wrap and roll tackling, which is illegal in high school football. It'll be worse. I know. That's exactly where he was going with Ricky, like Callahan on the movie Draft Day. And my dad says Holmes has a pretty good track record when it comes to the draft. I think we need 2 still, Detroit fan man. I would like I would like to grab one in the first 3 rounds and then grab Stiggers at the end and fill everything else with the other 5 picks. Who knows? It could be 6 picks or 7 picks if we trade back, and that's what I'm thinking gonna happen if possible. And Dan Leonard says, "Yes, sir," to Ricky Saccott. I love Quantez Stiggers. I've watched a lot of game film. I've been watching game film pretty much all weekend. Saturday night, Sunday most of the day. Um, Quantez Stiggers game film translates really well to what we do with our defense, especially with they do one thing in the CFL we don't do. They have that arena football gunner where the wide receiver can be at a full run by the time the ball is snapped. The timing of that has to be perfect. And I think the timing of that is more important than just getting off the ball properly in the NFL. Tackle? And Paul Jones says Quantez Stiggers is going to be a stud. I mean, he led the fan control league and was rookie of the year there. Then he goes to the CFL. He's rookie of the year and second behind Matthew Betts. Behind, he was second to him in defensive player of the year because he led that league in interceptions and was the rookie of the year. Ricky Saccott, can't wait to take my national championship tumbler to work today. Tons of Buckeyes in Columbus that are going to get a good look at it. Thanks again, Leonard. You're a true Buckeye killer for that. Right. I mean, wouldn't think about it this way. Would you rather have a kid that's coming out of college and raw and has to be developed more, or somebody? Oh, Fruity Fred Peterson. Good morning. It's a great day to be a fan. One pride. It's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I think he's one of the better DBs in the draft, and he's kind of like a unknown commodity because I don't think people are paying much attention. I also watched a lot of Matthew Betts film. I think 5 QBs do go in the draft early. It depends because some of these, yeah, you're talking about those guys. Leonard, they're just, and we're not talking about that. And Detroit fan man says I'm a Stigger slappy too. More Lions need to get their eyes on this kid. He looks like a 4.4, 4.5, big bodied corner, long, lengthy, covers well. I like him. I like him a lot. The Lions hosting the draft may affect the trade back PR reasons versus football reasons. I The only thing we've done with the Lions' actual football picks is trade back. We've only traded up when we've had other people's picks. That's where talking about that. Because if you look at our history over the last 2 seasons, every trade up has been with another team's pick. We traded up with the Rams pick. We traded back with the Rams pick. We traded back with our pick twice in the last 3 years. The odds of trading back with the Lions pick is more in our favor than trading up. That's all I was getting at. Yeah, we haven't had such a pick back there for a long time. And David Cadillac says, house money. Absolutely. And he goes, fair. So if anything happens, I think it's a trade back to early in the second round with somebody that needs that sixth quarterback on the board, somebody that's desperate to move up so nobody else takes them. I think that's where it goes. Think about it. The Bears' actual pick is ninth. So what if they don't go quarterback right off the rip? What if they shock the world and they go Marvin Harrison Jr. and then take the best tackle available at pick 9 or the best guard? Thank you for dropping in, Leonard. We'll see you tomorrow because you'll be on the show, right? Dad has to take a bathroom break, evidently. Yes, sir. Good. So it'll be back to Lions talk with Smoking Jeremy B and Von Doom tomorrow. Wouldn't surprise me. Chicago does Chicago things. But Fred Peterson, you say that, but I think that's actually the smart move because think about it. During that 5 game stretch that Fields didn't play last year, Tyson Badgett wasn't horrible. They went 3-2. No, Goff is not trade bait. That I think they're letting Hendon Hooker develop another year. I think Jeff Risdon said it best. I think it was 4 Fridays ago now. He said, I I from my sources, if there's no deal done by free agency, Goff is okay with playing out his contract here in Detroit to get a bigger haul next season, whether from the Lions or another team. Um, I disagree with that, Fred Peterson. I did also disagree with trading away Goff. I think they'll run out Badgett if they trade back or if they draft who I said. Badgett didn't look bad. He needs protection. That's why I would go with Harrison and the best tackle available at 9. If I was the Hooker is on the active roster. Yes, Dad. Do I like that? No, I don't like it. I just said that'd be the most intelligent thing they can do. Yeah, I'm being a realist. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to any of that. Kirk Cousins. Chicago's new GM is making positive moves. Absolutely, David Cadlick. I'm not hating on them. I'm trying to be real here. Um, with Badgett, think about it. He completed 62% of his passes. His last 2 games. Oh, I was doing. Oh, you're doing the. You like that? Gotcha. I Poles' first couple of years was kind of stuck with a roster that they couldn't change over. What if Lions let Goff walk and he signs with the Bears next offseason? Um, it is what it is. We can't help where he goes in free agency. Um, oh yeah, they have the best quarterback in the NFC South, but are they going to get further than the NFC Championship game with that roster? Because if you got Kirk Cousins, you got to admit Fred Peterson's Chicago backup QB is better than the dinks the Vikings had filling. What you talking about, Willis? Oh, good lord, my phone's blowing up. Everybody knows I'm live right now. Everybody, yeah, that's your. There you go. You're dreaming again, Paul Jones. I love it. We're trading 29 plus golf for a sixth in Crosby. I mean, Crosby and Hutch would be a great pass rush. But at the same time, back to what I was talking about Matthew Betts. Now, remember in the CFL, the defensive line has to line up a yard further back. So your offensive line, well, I need to get a better soundboard, is the problem, Joseph Austin. I want the phone. It's people on Messenger, people that know I'm live. I'm convinced Goff's leaving whether Ben's here or not. So it's time to mute the phone completely so I can pay attention more to you guys. Ricky, if Will Levis develops, the Titans are going to be damn good football team next year too. It's all on Levis's arm. Once I heard Levis put mayo in his coffee, he lost any chance ever at me being a fan. I think it's because he came out of a basketball school that he lost me as a fan. He came out of Kentucky. But at the same time, I looked at his tape and more his tape from the year before. He lost a lot of talent off of that 2022 roster going into 2023. Yes, Ken Fisher, there is a new rule and it's in place. Before you can attempt an onside kick, you have to announce it to the other team and to the refs. They have to know it's an onside kick. There is no formation shift at the last hit. Ricky Sakat asked a question here. Quick off topic question, man. How are we feeling about Dusty May? Dusty, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button and it backed me right out of here. Dusty May was a great hire. He was considered to be penciled in with Louisville. And he decided to be with Michigan. It's a great hire. Let's go. We get us another bargain CB. I mean, if anybody's going to complain about what we got, fine. I really don't care. It's the type of moves I said we'd do all off season. Paul Jones is great to this morning. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Ricky Sakat. You sent JB into the fifth dimension. Holmes is undefeated at every position but CB. Has he drafted one in the first 2 days yet? Oh, Ken Fisher. Why does the NFL continue to put themselves in a position where a mistake can happen? I don't understand the reasoning of announcing the onside kick. I can see the same thing happening to the Detroit Lions against the Cowboys when you have to report you're eligible. Yes. I blame Brad for my expectations. I blame podcasters for twisting what he said. He literally said, "I do not go for the flashy players. I build my team through the draft." So he's addressed every position but the defensive backfield so far in the first 2 days. So I expect to get one. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll be round one, round two, round three. Paul Jones says I blame Madden. No, I blame the people who play Madden and turn the salary cap off, Paul Jones, because they don't understand that the salary, while fluid and can be moved and manipulated, it does exist. It is a hard cap, unlike baseball, where if you go over the cap, you just pay a tax on it. Unlike even hockey has a hard cap like football. You need to start paying attention to how the teams are making moves in hockey because that's the type of moves you're going to see in football from here on out because they harden their cap and they've stuck to it. They're very strict about it. Orlando Escobrana Jr. It's a great quote too. I use a Harbaugh quote. We get guys who earn third base, not born on it. Me too, Blue. I blame Madden for everything that's wrong in football. Paul Jones. People are mad we aren't spending 6 years and 110 million on one CB. Ridiculous thinking. I understand. Um, they want us to spend 30 million on a defensive end. They want us to spend 40 million on a defensive tackle. They want us to spend 50 million on golf. They want us to throw 30 million at Amon Ross St. Brown. Number one, not our money. Number two, we have a guy in place that takes care of that. Matt Dunstall, Mike Disner, all those guys. I think Mike Disner's gone and Matt Dunstall is the one that took over. Well, uh, he finally did what he said he was going to do. It just took him 6 years to do it. I'm upset it took that long, Ricky. So yes, Harbaugh can do wrong. I'm a Michigan slappy too, but I'm not a homer when it comes to them. Our defense is going to be legit. We got Wink Martindale, our corners. We better get better corners. That's all I got to say. That second round of uh, recruits that are coming up, we better get some good corners because they got to be able to cover all day long because it is a send 6 or 7 package every time with a zero blitz. We already talked about it there, Dwayne Keene, a couple of times about the hit tackle. Um, it's not the wrap up tackle. What's the penalty for being over the cap? It does cost you draft picks. Look at last year. San Francisco fudged the numbers. They lost draft picks this year. Uh, so yes, because I was trying to figure out how did they have so much dead cap They ate all of Trey Lance's salary last year, yet they still had 49 million at the trade deadline. It just sounded wrong. I like Renardo Green too. He's a nice midday pick. I'm still waiting to hear what pick San Francisco loses this year because I heard it's going to be huge. Also, the tampering stuff is still being investigated for the Eagles and the Falcons. So they lost a fifth this year, and their three becomes a fourth. And think about that. That's kind of a big move there because that's technically losing two picks and getting the earliest of the day three guys, which are supposed to be your role players, right? Your first three rounds are where you're supposed to get uh starters. I think Philly and Atlanta losing a draft pick for tampering with Barkley and Cousins. Yes. Jeremy, want to go to the Tigers game noonish on Friday before the draft? I'll buy the tickets. Absolutely. I'm in. Did Darius Williams or Xavier Howard sign anywhere yet? Xavier Howard has not signed anywhere. I think Darius Williams did. I'll look it up and we'll find out more tonight. The NFL doesn't want to correct their F up at the Dallas game, and they said we're trying to be deceptive. Isn't that what it's all about? Yes. Xavier Howard to me is the most surprising free agent left, and I think he's waiting. Man, we've been talking 37 minutes, but there's really no Lions news out there. Ship chasing. Xavier Howard, he is ship chasing, but I think there might be a deal in place. We'll see. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to say anything, but it could be just a simple wait and see. Fred Peterson, amen. This is the comment of the day for actual realisticness. I'm so happy Snead is off the board. I didn't want him and sick of podcasters thinking we were spending that money amount of money on one player. Pat Rothwell says, Sup, Joe? Must be talking to somebody in the chat. I don't know who Joe is. Is Crosby a lion when his contract is done? With what he said there on that McAfee interview, he could be. There's one team he wants to play for. If it's not the Raiders, it's the Lions. He literally said it. Another hometown boy wants to come back. I'm trying to feed. When is he done? 2 more years? I think it's either 2 or 3 more years. Yes. Lions gave a top 30 to Christian Boyd at Northern Iowa and Nehemiah Pritchard of Auburn. Didn't we did sign somebody from the CFL? We signed defensive end Matthew Betts. He was their defensive player of the year, led the league in sacks. Pat Rothwell asked me, "Who are your top 5 prospects for the Lions to take in the draft?" Personally, at the top of my list is Cooper Beebe. Um, Jerzon Newton if he falls, Kool-Aid McKinstry if he falls, Cooper DeJean if he falls. Hey, you're absolutely right, Ricky Saccott, but go watch his game film. No, we interviewed a CB from the CFL. He's actually draft eligible there, Brent. Donkey Kong goes, I am super excited for all of Brad's draft picks this year. It's going to be awesome. So am I. What I saw of Betts on film, he reminds me a lot of Cameron Wake in the way he played the CFL. And we all know what Cameron Wake did when he was signed by the Dolphins on a futures contract. He led the league in sacks 2 years in a row. I'm not saying Betts is going to be that guy, but he has the chance to be. Does that make sense how I worded it there? Houston comeback player of the year, the problem slept on. He's not being slept on. I don't trust AG to use him right. He didn't use him right last year. That's how he got hurt. And no, that wasn't fresh this morning. And yes, Betts is quick. Think about this in 2018 or 2019, Betts is drafted by the Chicago Bears. They change coaching staffs, and he's at the back end of the roster, on and off the roster from the practice squad. And the new guys say he's gone. He goes to the CFL. He has a couple middling years there, and then last year, when he finally had his chance to start, he showed the pow. But that's okay. Let's talk about who's on the roster, though. I think Betts is a bigger get than people think. Marcus Davenport, can he stay healthy is the issue. Matthew Betts hasn't been injured. Yeah, sixth or seventh round, Pat Rothwell. I love that kid, Quantez Stiggers. He's one of my sleepers in the draft. Chicago can't develop a cold. Brent, at the same time, during the Quinn Trasha era, we couldn't develop Polaroid film. The abnormally large increase was because they added two more networks streaming wise that gave money to the NFL, which increased everybody's revenue. Also, the increased ticket prices, which they're saying an 85% increase this year coming up. I hope it's not that much, but I heard that's what it's going to be, an 85% increase. That's going to break your average NFL fan to go to a game. Right. Absolutely. Here we go. I'm rooting for Betts. I really am. Maybe Betts wins the starting job, and Marcus, I made of glass Davenport, just the rotational piece. They say nonprofit. That's because they do profit sharing across the board. Wait till a few years from now when the NFL games become a pay-per-view type of thing. I see it coming too. It's leaning that way. Where basically, if you don't have a streaming service, you won't be able to watch the NFL. Pretty soon, cable will be a thing of the past, along with Dish. Yeah, you had Peacock and Apple. Joseph Austin, my cable bill is breaking me, Jeremy, let alone attending the draft. Uh, Send me an email. I'm going to share a link with you. And I really want you to pay attention because it's way cheaper than cable to be able to watch football and any sports, really. They're not a sponsor. I'm not going to announce them live on the air, but my email is smokinjeremyb@gmail.com, just like it sounds. The regular way of smelling smoking, not the way my logo has it. I watch a lot through YouTube. YouTube Live is expensive too. I'm just saying, I think I found one of the cheapest streaming services out there, and it's amazing. I'm spamming your email now. Big mistake. No, I mean, why not? I, I pay 99 bucks a year for my streaming service. I get every sports channel and every professional sports game. I'm going to put it out there. 99 bucks a year. So you can take your cable bill just to get your local news and turn it down to nothing and just pay for the basic stuff. When I say the basic, I mean the basic of the basic, where you just get the first 13 channels. Um, we were actually in the bot. It's the reselling of the tickets that's expensive, Jerry Gerard. The actual price at the box office release of the tickets, we actually have label price, one of the cheapest tickets around in league. It's not just the Lions going up by 85%. It's every team across the league. I hear you, Orlando. I use Netflix and I use Amazon and all that stuff. But you know what? I don't have the plus stuff. So I don't get the live. Supply and demand. Lions are a hot ticket and their fans are hungry. And we also have one of the smaller buildings. Less fans equals less tickets sold. Yes. That's another reason why there's been a bigger one. Does the revenue from the NFL gets from playing outside the US also figure into the salary cap limitations? It actually figures into the total profits. Like Wembley Arena. Yeah, you're talking about Hughes Network. That thing's so expensive unless you can get Frontier. Frontier is way cheaper. Fubo's okay. I think we're gonna wait and take one in UDFA. We have too many needs on the roster for depth, so I think they're gonna take a kicker in UDFA, opposed to a team in England or Germany. I think that's gonna happen eventually. The only kicker I'd wanna there's only 2 kickers I like this draft, and I heard there's a third that's good, but I really don't like him because he's just accurate under 50. He doesn't have that big leg, the 2 big leg kickers that are yeah, I knew what you were talking about there, Ricky Sakat. Um, but it's, Josh Carty, Harold Mevis, and then if you just want accuracy under the 50 is, Will Reichland. That's the one I'm surprised that hasn't happened, Orlando Escobedo Jr. is a Canadian NFL team. We were real close to having Buffalo Bills move until the city decided they're gonna rebuild the stadium. Yeah, the Alabama kid, super accurate, but not a big leg. He's my 3rd best. Well, it is time to talk about our sponsors. Let's talk about our favorite sponsor. You all know who it is. Put it in the chat. It's FTP. No, it's not the Floras. It's fuck the Packers. Put an FTP in the chat because we love to hate on them, don't we? Got 2 FTPs already. Gloss Negron, the best window tinner in Saginaw. Call him. He also does auto detailing to clean your whip up and get it shiny at the same time. 989-443-9240, 409 Hamilton Street in Saginaw. Tell him Smoking Jeremy B sent you. Pardon me. My sleeper picks this year, um, Omar Spites out of LSU at linebacker. Mohamed Kamara, edge out of Colorado State. Quantez Stiggers. And Frank Gore Jr. Freeze the produce. That's funny. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? I make it more about you, the fans, and what you want to know. Because if you make your show more about the fans, it's easier to get topics because you guys will provide it and it'll give me something to talk about when there's no news. I've done over 1,000 shows over the past 2 years, and this year I'm now doing 8 shows a week in 52 weeks. Do you realize what that is? I still like Free the Puppies. That's the best one. Oh yeah, Ken Fisher. It We have discussed it immensely at the beginning of the show, sir. I'm gonna figure this acronym out one of these days. Yeah, Nugent in the fifth wouldn't be bad unless you got somebody there that falls. The wide receivers I like this draft. If you're gonna take one in the first round, it's a Donnie Mitchell. Best hands in the draft, hands down. They can say what they want. They can say it's Malik Neighbors. They can say it's Marvin Harrison, which is a fallacy. They can say it's Xavier Worthy. They can say it's Troy Franklin. It's a Donnie Mitchell. He had a 1.7 drop rate in his career in college. Fred Peterson, that would be Drake Nugent. Oh, living it up, Leonard. This thing is sticking at me. Oh, Oh man, my computer is failing me again. All right, guys. I can't even do anything with the computer, so I'm gonna have to back out again, and it stinks. Brian Stover's in here. It's actually Florida is where where he's practicing with Hooker and Teddy. There, Brian. If he's there, I wouldn't mind Newton. But I'm gonna have to log out, guys. You guys have a great day. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna try to get this thing to work. My whole pad just quit on me. Yes, sir. You will see me later tonight. Have a great evening, day, everybody.